Hello, I'm Simon. Welcome to my workshop. In this video I'm going to be building an accessory drawer for my router table. Let's get tinkering. I've made or accumulated quite a lot of jigs and accessories for my router table. I don't really have anywhere to put any of them, so I'll just quickly go through some of these things. I've got a circle cutting jig, a box cutting jig, feather boards, and then bits, more bits, more bits, gauge, and then other accessories and manuals and things. So I've got quite a lot, and as part of my workshop organisation series I want to find homes for all of these so it becomes a lot tidier in the workshop and I can find stuff. I've had this plywood tray in my workshop for a couple of years. It was originally a board that my children used for playing Legos on, and I thought, well, one day it could make quite a good drawer, and it's about the right sort of size for this workbench. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to convert this into a drawer and make compartments for it so that I can store all of the parts. So the first thing I'm going to do is work out where to put all the parts. What I'm thinking is if I put a board in this area here and drill some holes in it, then I can get all of my router bits in this area, and it will effectively create a section here for these odd items, and then these will stay where they are, and that will keep it all quite neat. So I'm going to give that a go and see how it works out. I'm using scraps. This board is the remains of an old workbench top. It's 3 sheets of 9mm ply laminated together. It's not in great condition, but I couldn't bring myself to bin it, and it's just the right thickness for this project, at just over 1 inch thick. I start by giving the surface a quick sand. It will need painting to hide all the stains. I then mark out a grid of 16 by 9 lines, each about 1 inch apart. These will provide a reference for when I drill the holes to accommodate the shafts of the router bits. I can then drill the holes. I'm drilling the holes slightly small because I'll be painting this later and will have to drill out the holes again to remove any paint drips. I'm using a 6mm brad point drill bit to help me accurately place the holes. These workshop projects are great for practicing your skills and improving your accuracy on a job that doesn't matter if you get it slightly wrong. On the underside I get a little bit of blowout, so I use a countersink bit to remove them and tidy up the underside. This isn't strictly necessary as you can't see the underside, but it makes me feel better knowing it's tidy. I do the same on the top, but just tickling the holes with the countersink bit. This is just to provide a slight round over to each hole. I start painting the piece with a rag. I figure that this will reduce the drips in the holes, but quickly discover that this is a bad and messy idea, so I go back to using a brush. These are the sorts of projects to experiment on. It's likely that I'm the only person who will ever see this once it's complete. I might try using a roller in future. I select a piece of scrap trim and cut this to size. I'm using a tenon saw as it's too long for the bandsaw and too small to use the miter saw. I then glue it in place, having drawn a line off camera using the bit holder I've made earlier as reference. The trim is a little warped, so I use quite a lot of weight to straighten it out. I can now start work on the frame for the drawer. I cut some leftover 3x2. This will fit inside the top frame of the workbench, and then cut some 3/4 inch ply which will hold the drawer runner and will be screwed to the studding. Ideally the 3/4 inch ply
would have been a bit wider than I'm using, but this was the only suitable scrap I had, so it will have to do. This is another aspect of these workshop projects. By using only scrap, compromises have to be made, changing the design to suit the materials to hand. I then fiddle around fitting the rails to the workbench and then the drawer to the rails. The only part I've had to buy for this project are these 500mm, that's about 16-inch, full extension drawer rails. These were cheap ones from Amazon and cost £10. Have a 35 kilogram, about £70 weight rating, which is significantly more than the drawer will ever carry, and they're soft close. The screws I used were a little too long, so I cut off the ends with my rotary tool. For the face of the drawer, I find a piece of 9mm ply that's about the right width and cut it to size. I'd have preferred 18mm ply, but didn't have any of the right size. This piece just needs a little sanding before I glue it to the drawer. It's a little thin to screw in place, and I didn't want any screw holes in the front of the drawer, so it takes some careful marking out to ensure that I get it placed correctly. And that's the project complete.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, then please leave a thumbs up. And if you've got any suggestions for how you keep your workshop organised, then please leave them in the comments. I'll see you in my next video. Thanks for watching.
Just before you go, why not watch my other workbench mods by clicking the top left thumbnail or the bottom left thumbnail for my workshop organisation series. And if you like what I'm doing, then hit my logo to subscribe. It's free. See you next time.